Hello everyone, welcome back. Let's talk about another medium problem on Leetcode today. Word search, Leetcode 79. This problem is part of Blind 75, a curated list of essential coding interview questions. You can find the full list linked in the description below. Be sure to check it out. Now to the problem. In this problem, we are given an m into n grid of characters called board and a string word, and our task is to determine if the word exists in the grid and return true or false based on that. The word can be constructed from letters of the sequentially adjacent cells where adjacent cells are horizontally or vertically neighboring. The same letter cell may not be used more than once. Then in example 1, for the given board, word given is ABCCED, which can be found on the board following this yellow path. So we will return true in this case. Similarly in example 2, for the same board, the word given to us is C, which can be formed following this yellow path. So we will return true in this case as well. And finally in example 3, the word given to us is ABCB, which cannot be found on the board as the same cell, for example B here, cannot be reused. Hence we will return false. Now in terms of solution, we may think that we can solve this problem using dynamic programming, but we cannot because the path we take to a cell matters. When we traverse to a letter in the grid, the path taken to reach it makes each search unique. This means each subproblem depends on the specific path used. For example, we can come to the letter F from 4 different directions and all the paths formed to it will be unique. This means we don't have any overlapping subproblems that dynamic programming requires. So that brings us to solving this problem using backtracking. In this approach, we will be performing depth-first search, starting from every cell in the grid to explore all possible paths, checking if any of them form the word. So, during the search, we try to match the word's current character in the grid. We'll use an index on the word to track the progress, which starts at the beginning of the word. For example, at the character S here. Now we begin by scanning the grid for character S, iterating row-wise and column-wise, starting from cell 00. The first character we see is A, which doesn't match S, and same is true for the characters B, C and E, until we find the match here. So we move the index forward to match the next character E, which must be adjacent to S in the grid. To locate it, we explore the adjacent cells recursively in 4 directions, up, down, left and right. So if we go up, we see character A, which does not matches E. And same is the case if we go down or right. And if we go left, we go out of bounds. So we couldn't find any E adjacent to S. So we will backtrack and move the index to the previous character S. And again look for this character S in the rest of the grid, where we skip over the cells like F and C as they don't match S. And eventually we see S again. And once again, we recursively search adjacent cells for the next character E. So first we go up and see character E. So we found the match. And now we need to find the next E, which must be adjacent to this cell. So we check its neighbors, where the directions up and right leads to out of bounds. And on the left, we have character C, which does not matches E. And if we go down, we find the character S again. But we shouldn't revisit this cell as we have already used it in the word. So to prevent revisiting, we can either use a visited matrix, which here can be a Boolean matrix of same size, and mark the cells as we visit them. However, this will require extra space. Instead, a better solution is to temporarily modify the cell value to some other character which is not part of the grid, like hash or dollar, when we visit the cell. For example, here we visited cell S before going to E, so we will set it to hash to mark it as visited. Similarly, we do the same for the cell containing this E as we explore the grid in 4 directions using DFS. So now when we will revisit this cell, we will see hash instead of S, so we will know that we have already visited this cell and hence we will ignore it. Now since none of the neighbors of E at cell 0, 3 provide the final E, the path has hit a dead end. At this point, we backtrack by returning false, resetting hash to its original character E and moving back to the point where we initially searched for S. Now it knows that up direction failed, so it proceeds to check the next direction in its sequence. For example, we go to left and see character C, which does not matches E. And if we go right, we are out of bounds. Next, we go down where we find the matching E. So the algorithm goes deeper, marking the current cell as visited by setting it to hash and begins searching from this cell for the final letter of the word, which is also E. So again, we will recursively search in 4 directions: up, down, left and right. But now if we go up, we see a visited cell. So we return, and from here going right and down leads to out of bounds, and going left results in finding final E. And this brings us to the base case where all the characters are matched as the index is at the end of the word. And so we will return true in this case. But instead of C, if the word was seek, the search would initially proceed similar to C. However, after finding the second E, the next character K cannot be found in the adjacent cells. As a result, we will backtrack, undoing its path step by step, and start searching S elsewhere in the remaining grid, where the cells with values A, D, E, E don't match S. And now since no path for S exists after scanning the entire grid, we conclude that the word seek cannot be formed and return false in this case. Now the time complexity of this approach is O of m into n into 4 to the power of L, where m and n are grid dimensions and L is the length of the word. As we are finding the word of length L, the depth of the recursion will be L, and each cell can produce up to 4 recursive calls for 4 adjacent directions, leading to 4 to the power of L calls per word, and this process is repeated for every cell in the worst case, which adds a factor of m into n. Hence, the overall time complexity will be O of m into n into 4 to the power of L, and the space complexity will be O of L due to the recursion stack used in backtracking. Here is a quick code walkthrough of the algorithm we just talked about, with Java code on left and Python on right. First, let's get the dimensions of the board. Let m be number of rows and n be number of columns. Now, we will iterate through the grid, and for each cell I, j in the grid, we will start the DFS, passing in the cell coordinates I, j and the starting index 0 of the word. Each DFS call attempts to find the word starting from cell I, j, and if the DFS call returns true, we will immediately return true, indicating the word exists in the matrix. However, if no such path is found to form the word after scanning the entire grid, we will return false. Now let's look at the DFS function. This function takes in row, column, and the index of the current character in the word. First, let's look at the base case. If index reaches the word's length, it means all characters have been matched, so we will return true. Otherwise, we will visit the current cell. But before that, we will check the boundary conditions, where we check if the current row and column are within the bounds of the matrix. That is, row and columns are more than equal to 0 and less than equal to m and n. If that is not the case, we will return false. But otherwise, we will check if the character at the current cell matches the required character in the word. If it doesn't, we will return false. But if it does, then we will visit it by setting hash at the current cell. But before that, we take the backup of this cell in the temp variable and recursively explore the 4 directions, which are up, down, left and right. And in each recursive call, we increment the index by 1 to look for the next character in the word. And if any of the recursive paths return true, our answer will be true. And in any case, once the recursive calls finish, we reset the current cell's value back to the original character and finally return the answer. So that's all for this video. I hope this video was useful to you. If it was, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might benefit from it. If you haven't subscribed the channel yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you never miss an update. Your support helps me create more content like this. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.